When I started this channel, I planned on art journaling and painting or drawing while talking about TV and pop culture, because that's what I tend to listen to when I'm making art. Podcasts about TV, Survivor, Game of Thrones, etc. And I even created a video painting while talking about the traitors, but my heart wasn't in it. My heart hasn't been in a lot of things lately because of our current political climate. I wake up and read the news and I'm instantly upset, sad, depressed, so angry, sometimes totally overwhelmed. Since the beginning of the year especially, and I can't move on with my day until I discharge all that emotion. Frequently, I'll use exercise as a way to discharge pent-up emotion, especially walking or jogging outside. But here on the East Coast, we're having a pretty rough January weather-wise, and I haven't been able to get outside. So instead, I turned to writing. I've always written about my feelings. I have so many old diaries filled with old feelings. But when I started doing art a year or so ago, I started making art over top of those old diaries, and also over top of writing that I would do on a daily basis. I need to write in this cathartic way to get it out of my system, but I do not need to keep it and reread it. So why not use it as a base for my mixed media art pages? And that's what I'm doing. I am writing down all that I am feeling this morning. Rage, frustration, fear for our fellow humans in Minneapolis, fear for brown and black people, fear for myself, for my family. And so I just write it all out. It doesn't need to be legible. In fact, I purposely make it non-legible because this isn't about reading what I've written. I don't want to reread this and be triggered all over again. That will happen naturally when I turn on the TV or read the news or talk to anyone. I want to get this out of me, this rage and fear and overwhelm. Get it out on paper so I can move on with the rest of my day and actually do my job. And it's important that I'm in a good mental state for my family, for my community, for my job. I'm in a helping profession. I help people who are up against it, up against the man, the system, the government. And it's a stressful job. And I am no good to my clients or anyone in my life if I cannot get out of bed because of the fear and overwhelm I am feeling about our current political situation. So this is how I move through our world being on fire, by writing it all out, putting it here on the page, and then I make art over top of it. I start by painting on top of the writing. I'm using some neutral background colors today, and I usually use acrylic ink or acrylic gouache for my first base layers, something that won't come up when I add other layers and water-soluble stuff on it later. I spread the paint around with a credit card, and usually a couple of coats mostly covers all I've written on the page. Some writing will show through, and that's cool. It's another layer, a texture, an element peeking through, and I think that looks cool. Once the paint dries, the next step is to pick my collage papers. I sort through some collected papers, jelly prints, papers from old books, old magazines, and I'm looking here for good background images, collage images that'll go with my paint, and also for a focal point. And I decide on this woman from a children's book illustration as my focal point collage bit. And I think I picked her because she kind of expressed what I'm feeling in this writing. There was a sense of despair and anxiety in the image, and certainly that's what I was writing about. So I thought she would be a good choice. And then I just find other papers that I think will go with that image. And then once I've made my choices, I glue them down either with a glue stick. Today I use a gel medium. And when I'm using a gel medium or a glue stick, I'm just making sure that I get it down really good, get that paper down really good, because I don't want it coming up with my future layers. I may be adding things with water in the future, and I don't want the paper coming up. So that's what this part is about. We're just going to glue down these paper bits and then move on to the next step. Once I have all the paper bits down that I want, I look for other paints and mediums to put on top, colors that coordinate with what I have on the page. Here I've got a kind of a dark green, a kind of muddy brownish color, and a burnt sienna, transparent burnt sienna. And I'm just randomly moving paint around, making sure that I have color on both pages and in different parts of the spread, that it's balanced out. I'll sometimes add some acrylic ink over top too and drip it on the page. I do that in this spread. And again, pick colors that I think will go well with the collage that I picked. Maybe things that'll make the collage pop out a little bit. And, I drip it over randomly. Again, kind of just intuitively where I think color is needed. And that's what I'm doing now, is just going through with the paint, and then I'll add some acrylic ink after that. Now I've gotten it to a place I really like, and I feel like I'm kind of done, but I usually want to add some words that summarize what I'm thinking or what I was thinking, or maybe while working on this, I've had some kind of emotional breakthrough and want to capture that with a quote or phrase. That didn't happen today. So I'm just looking through a box of collected words that I found cut out of magazines and such. and looking for something that I feel like captures the general mood. And once I find that, I'll attach that down with the matte medium and then go from there and see if there's anything else I need to add. So I'm pretty happy with this now, but I've decided it needed a little brightness. So I added some drops of watercolor in a brighter green color, just splatter on top. First here, though, I'm outlining the box of the lettering that I found for it with a Stabilo All pencil. It's one of my favorite art materials. I wet it first and get that down, and then here I go with the watercolor, just doing some splatters to brighten it up. And I feel better. After doing this process, I feel much better. The writing, which I did at the beginning, really was that part that helped me to move that fear and anger through. And then the painting and collage gave me some mental space, some nervous system reset, so that I can face my day, so I can suit up and show up for the people who need me to be my best self today. Maybe try this process if you too are struggling right now with the heaviness of the world. If you do and it helps, let me know in the comments. Or let me know what you do to regulate your nervous system during these trying times. Thanks, y'all. Hang in there.